In this part, we will learn how to create the candles and the flames that you can see here. And we will be utilizing the new SubPyro shelf tool that is available in Houdini 21. Before we jump onto the flames and candles, this is the result of the dry ice, right? And you can see that we have the smoke coming out from the ice. Okay, so the scene is slowly coming in together. Sometimes when you cache, this checkbox will get turned on, so don't forget to turn it on to actually load everything that you have cached. All right, so let's now take a look at how we can create the candles really fast and easy. So if we go to the shelf on the top, and if we go to SubPyro effects, you would see that there is a candle flame icon in here. And once we click on that, so if you click once, it will just put this gizmo. Control click wouldn't work, so you just click and then press enter, and it will create one candle with pyro simulation right in the center of your 3D scene. You can see that this shelf was built in a specific way, and we also get the actual candle geometry for free. I'm gonna go back and turn off the Halloween geometry container because we just want to focus on the candle for now. So it will create a separate geometry container for the candle, and then it will put everything inside. Okay, so it's a very interesting setup. I recommend you going through and studying it in your free time, but it's using all the same methods that we did, creating the fields with the pyro source, adjusting the temperature, volume rasterize them into the volume fields, and then doing the pyro sim. And basically, we are going to reduce 100% of this setup. The only thing we're going to do is we are going to basically copy the candle 3 times. We're going to randomly rotate it, and then we are going to achieve something looking like this, right? So the candle geometry is also very interesting. Definitely dive inside, take a look at how it was built. It's a great exercise. So what we are going to do, we are going to basically, first of all, we want to make sure that this candle flame is cached. And I would actually cache more frames. So if you need to retime it, you have that ability. So I'm going to right click here, delete channels. I'm going to set it to 240. This is a pretty fast simulation. If you want to make this a little bit more efficient, and if you want this to simulate faster, we don't really need this high resolution and this many substeps for this simple scene. So to speed things up, what I'm going to do, basically I'm going to take this voxel size, I'm going to multiply it to 1.5, and we'll get smaller resolution, and I'm going to set both of the substeps to 1. So we're only simulating with 1 substep, so it's going to be 2 times faster to simulate. And then basically here, this is the caching part. We are going to cache this to disk, and then I'm going to come back. So before we actually do that, let's save this as FX candle flame. Okay, let's save this here, and this will go straight into that geometry folder. So after we save, let's do save to disk in background, and I will be back once the simulation is complete. All right, we are back. So this is completed. So let's take a look at what we have. We have a really, really nice candle flame that comes from the shelf. So we are going to create some groups that we will use later on for instancing these. So what I'm going to do before the outputs for everything, I'm just going to create some groups here. So this is a group for the actual flame. Create a group node. I'm gonna call this GRP flame, and then this will be GRP candle, and this will be the wick, GRP wick. Okay. So this all would come out like this, and there's actually even a Solaris setup here that you can take a look at and check how the materials are set up. But we are going to combine it all in our final scene. So let's create an output. So null, I'm going to call this out candle full. And we will bring this output into our Halloween geometry container. Okay, so let's go back. Let's jump into Halloween. And actually, let me just turn this off. Go inside Halloween. Okay, so let's bring the candle here. I'm going to press tab, type object, merge. And I'm going to just click here to open the object merge chooser in our Houdini file system. Let's click on plus in the candle flame, and I'm going to use out candle full and accept. So this will bring in the candle. As you can see, the candle is quite big if we compare it to the pumpkin. This is our pumpkin, but the candle is pretty big. So we are going to scale it down, and we also need to basically lay it out so it looks more interesting. Okay, so let's create the instance points around the pumpkin, and it's nothing really fancy. We can just use again labs simple shapes. I'm just going to use a triangle. So I just templated the simple shapes, and I have the pumpkin visible. So in the simple shapes, we are going to use the triangle. Where was the triangle? So I'm going to increase the base scale to 2.2. Okay, and then I'm going to change the top point to be at 1 and the height to be 2. So something like this. Okay, and then these points, the ends of the endpoints of the triangle would be where the candles would be instanced. And that was based on the original camera angle that I wanted for this shot. This basically put them in this nice layout. So let's turn off closed, and we are going to use the points of this. Additionally, actually, we can rotate this if we need to. We'll probably do it later on. So let me just use this triangle here. Okay, so let's do copy the points. So the geometry to copy is going to be our candle, and the points would be the triangle points. Okay, so this is what we have right now. Let's keep the pumpkin on. So these are some gigantic candles. Okay, so let's add some possibility for us to rotate them differently and also adjust the scale of these candles. So what we can do, we can take the initial points from this triangle, and we can use scatter and align. And by default, it will try to look for a point cloud, or it will try to scatter the points, but we don't have any of those. So we actually want to use the points from this triangle as a second input, and we are going to say add attributes to existing point cloud. So this way we would have we can now control the scale of the candles, because the attributes will be created exactly on these points. So we can set the minimum radius to 0.75. You can set the overall scale much smaller, 0.175. Okay, now the candles are smaller. The flame is also going to be smaller, by the way, so everything is just going to be scaled down. Now I want to randomly rotate each of these, and we can go to the rotation area, and if we start doing the minimum rotation angle, for example, minus 180, and the maximum, if we set it to 180, okay, now we can see that these are starting to get randomly rotated, and we can set the offset angle to something like 313. All right, so we get some more randomization here. So this is basically what I ended up doing. And basically the last thing that we can do is we can transform the triangle a little bit. So we can add a transform here. So if we want, we can always rotate the position, you know, according to our needs. I think I rotated it minus 5 degrees to be exact. Okay, so we have now our candles. However, for the rendering, we can just take and all 3 of these and import them into Solaris. We'll need to separate them, because the materials that were used for this candle, they already set to be applied to 3 different parts. One is this geometry wax or candle wax. The other one is this wick, and the third one is going to be the actual flame, right? So we'll need to split it into those 3 parts by using the groups that we created. So let's use a split. Okay, split. And we can say in the split that I want to split the flame. And then here we'll create an output for Solaris. So we're going to say no out flame candle pyro. Yeah, that's the candle pyro, and then we'll split it again. And for this one, we will do candle, and this will be our candle wax. Okay, so that's the candle wax, and then the last one is going to be out wicks. Candles. So we know it's multiple. All right, so those are the candle setup. Quite easy, right off the shelf. Let's put it into its own network box, and let's call this candles, and let's save our scene. Actually, we're just gonna save it. Just override, and I just want to make sure that it's inside. Okay, so in the next part, we are going to focus on basically setting up a camera in SOPs, and we also would need to create some sort of interesting skeleton simulation. So we can access the skeleton through one of the characters, and then we will do an RBD sim to make different pieces fall down and be laid out in a more organic way. Right, I'll see you in the next part.